Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today we got a good little project for you. Aluminum MIG welding. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with that, and we're going to talk about that and what we're going to be doing in today's video. But before we get started, I just want to tell you guys, along with doing a lot of metal fabrication and building things and being in the concrete industry, I love doing all that. But another thing I enjoy doing is cooking. That's a good passion of mine. I look forward to the weekends. I look forward to doing a lot of cooking, whether it be barbecuing, smoking, or baking in the kitchen. I really enjoy doing that. And oftentimes I struggle trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do. So I signed up for this program, ButcherBox, and every month they send out a supply of high quality beef, pork, and chicken with no antibiotics, no hormones, and it's supposed to be some good quality stuff. So I thought I'd give it a try. I don't know if you guys have ever used this or not, or tried it or not, but I literally got this box, the first box here, about a half hour ago, and I just opened it up and I just wanted to show you what's inside. You can see we've got some pork, we've got some ground beef, and some steak, and some bacon, some chicken. So there's just a little bit of everything in here, and I'm interested in giving this a try and seeing how it is. If you guys are interested in something like this, I'll put a link in the description below. Butcherbox.com. All right, we'll get that in the freezer in a minute. Let's talk about today's video. All right, so what we got right here is a piece of cast iron part to a food processor, I believe it is. And the client brought this to me about 6 months ago. It had broken half right here, and I was able to get some nickel stick welding rod and weld this thing back to do a quick little repair for him to get this thing back in service, and it's worked just fine. But you can see there's got a lot of rust and a lot of corrosion on this, and he had asked me if there's a chance I could maybe make something similar to this that's going to adapt to his machine out of aluminum. Of course, I jumped all over that. I've never had a chance to do any aluminum MIG welding, at least not very much. So we're going to try to replicate this part. We're going to use some 1/4 inch aluminum plate with some 3/8 inch flat bar stock. We're going to try to replicate this as close as we can. I can differ from this pattern slightly. What's important is this hole diameter size right here and the bolt pattern right here. So we'll stay true to that. So I'm anxious to get started. Try some aluminum MIG with the HTP Pro Pulse 300. Let's get started today's video. All right, so the first thing we're going to be doing is laying this out with some 1/4 inch flat material right here. Now, the customer has given me a little bit of leadway here in terms of the dimensions on this. You can see that I'm going about 3/8 of an inch bigger on the outside all the way around. The reason is those bolt holes on the outside are really close to the edge, and I just wanted to give a little bit of room for that. You can see I'm having a little bit of trouble here on my bandsaw trying to get this thing cut, so I thought it'd be a good idea to rip this thing in half. So I broke out the plasma cutter and just rip this thing in half. It is going to make it a little bit easier for me to get it in the bandsaw. Of course, that worked out really good. All right, so back over the bandsaw, and we're going to cut this thing to dimension. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of slack from you guys with my guard being up so high. I'm about 4 or 5 inches above right there. This is only a 1/4 inch blade, but the reason why I've got it up high is for filming purposes, so you guys get an accurate reading as to how everything is cutting right here. But no problems, we're going through it. Now this is something that I'm cutting the circle out right here, and you can see I came in from the edge, so that's the only way I can get this circle cut out. And I'm going to have to go back a little bit later and weld that circle up and grind it down. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. So I'm just freehanding my way around the bandsaw right here. Aluminum cuts pretty well. Not too many issues, not too much issues with it, and we're just getting this done. You can see I got it all cut out, and I'm going to come right out the same hole I went in. So I'm cranking up the Pro Pulse 300 right here for the first time. Not the first time, but the first time with MIG aluminum. And we're going to set the settings here. You can see I'm going to run it at about 400 inches a minute right there, and then I'm going to give that a try, and that worked out pretty good. I was really pleased the way that turned out right there, welding that thing up. So I'm just marking these holes with a center punch. We're going to get over the drill press and drill this out. These holes right here that I'm drilling aren't real important, those ones on the outside. The ones that are important are the ones I'm drilling right here. This is what the machine's actually going to bolt to. And you can see that you know, they look like they're elongated a little bit. At least that's the way I marked them, and that's the way they were on the other piece. So I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of elongate them a little bit here, and I've got a die grinder. That didn't work out. The bit loaded up really bad, so I wasn't able to get much progress. So I just grabbed my rat tail file right here and did the best I could to open them up a little bit to give them a little bit of adjustment with the machine. I don't know that it really matters or not. They might fit right in there perfectly, but I'm just trying to follow the template that I had from the old part. All right, so I want to go around and clean up the edges here a little bit. And I started out with a flap disc. You can see it, and I struggled. The flap disc was loading up, and I didn't get a chance to catch this too much on camera, but you see me fumbling around over there with the grinder. I'm changing out the wheel, and I'm actually putting in a polishing wheel that I got from Walter, and that really worked out really well right here. I haven't had a chance to use those wheels too much for anything, and boy, they sure excel on the aluminum right here. So I went around and cleaned the edges up and kind of buffed the outside to be sure I had a clean surface. And then it's time to start laying out the outside. Now again, this is some 1¼ by 3/8 flat bar stock. And I wanted to cut all the pieces, and put it together so it fit in there perfectly. I just didn't want to, have any big gaps. And so, I got my angle finder right here, and I'm trying to get the angles just right. And of course, cutting aluminum with a cutoff saw is no problem at all. Just getting all the pieces cut to length and piecing them all in right here, I just wanted to be sure that everything was just right. It took a couple of times, but I ultimately got it, and there it is. I think I'll be able to do okay. So the first thing I did, this is the big challenge for me. I mean, I'm going for it. I'm just stepping out here. I don't have very little experience with aluminum MIG welding, and I just want to tack all the pieces into place, and so far so good. Everything is looking pretty good. I'm not having any disasters as of yet, so that's a good thing. The welds to the inside seemed a little bit on the cold side, but still I got them in there. The outside tack seemed to work pretty good. It's just going to take some time for me and some adjustment here with the Pro Pulse 300. A little bit more experience maybe, and I can get the inches a minute and the volts where they need to be for the thickness of material I'm using. But ultimately, I got it all done, all tacked in, and it's ready to give it a whirl. And here we go. I just went for it, stepped out there, and so far so good, looking pretty good. I was expecting to have some disastrous welds right here, but I was really pleased the way this is turning out. The performance of the machine was absolutely perfect. I had no issues whatsoever, and you can see that it's much faster than TIG welding. I can't imagine you sitting here TIG welding this compared to MIG welding this. It just seems like it's just twice as fast as it is TIG welding. But nevertheless, you can see I'm just going down through here and just finishing this up. It is a little hot, so I got my TIG finger on right there, and that worked out really good. Just buttoning up the last part of the welds right here. And there's a good look of what they look like. Not too bad for a guy that hasn't really done it too much or doesn't have very much experience. So, I wasn't really happy with the way the beads were. I wanted to polish this product up and be finished and have a really finished look. So I just took that polishing wheel, finished everything out, and put a little brush finish on it. Turned out really good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, and also check out my website at JIMBO'sGarage.com. See you guys next week.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.